Hello everyone, welcome to another rant of mine. It's your boy Llama Connor here live once again. Today we're going to talk about the bad guys as well as the new multiverse of madness, Doctor Strange. I just want to start with the bad guys because it's really fresh off my mind right now. And I just want to say, I'm not a very loquacious person, so please bear with my rants. I don't like talking so much. I want to try to keep it short. I just want to point out some observations as well as my subjective opinions, so don't come at me please. But it's just a trend I'm just seeing and observing at this point. So the bad guys, I want to talk about the pros and the cons in a sense. The pros is it's a good movie. I highly recommend, especially for your kids. It's a great movie. You could obviously, as an older person, you can see the references from older movies, and it's interesting to watch behind the scenes and the author who created the books and how it kind of came into the movie. It's interesting to sort of compare the animation or the style from the book. And obviously the actors are great, the voice actors are great, and it's interesting to hear how they collab through in a virtual ecosystem to really deliver their lines. Overall, the visuals are amazing, the characters are great. Even though it's a predictable story, it's still a good movie, and I highly recommend it. It's like a 6 or 7 out of 10 like I said before. And yeah, go check it out because Dreamworks never lets me down. But that being said, when it comes to this animation animal genre, I just find it personally weird how humans are weird and odd in a sense that we tend to personify animals and project our human anatomy and emotions into these animals and give them certain meanings given their sort of characters in a sense. Honestly, it's creative, it's cool, it's not a bad thing. It's just interesting to look back and see what sort of movies we grew up on as a 90s, well, I guess late 90s kid. And just wondering what was the first ever human and animal morphing animated movie, why is it always a fox or a wolf or a furry animal in the first place being the main character? Why is it our brains formulated like that, wired like that? We always gravitate towards something furry. And I know there's a furry community out there, but why do we do that? I'm just trying to understand why we obsess over furry animals and then we animate them. Because how many dog animated related movies are out there right now? There's a whole massive list, right? There's only until recently we tend to go off the genre of hey, what if a rat was a main character? How many rat movies are out there? Literally 2. How many, I don't know, lions are out there? Only a few. How many foxes or wolves related animals are as the main character? Only a few. How many bears? The only latest one is Kung Fu Panda, and that franchise kind of just died. Kung Fu Panda, a panda as a main character was such a great idea. We also had lizards. How many lizard movies are out as a main character? The only thing I could think of is Rango, and with Johnny Depp. That was the only one I could think of. How many movies that had a pig as a main character? There's a lot. Recently we had Sing. I thought Sing was the nail in the coffin of nailing all these animated anime related movies together, but it wasn't. But you know what? I grew up on Madagascar. I grew up on Over the Hedge. I grew up on Kung Fu Panda. I grew up on Bugs Life and all those morphic animated movies, and they were great. They were hilarious. So it's really nice to see DreamWorks still pumping out these sort of movies for the next generation in a sense. And I'm just hoping they would use more unique animals. We don't really get to see other animals as the main characters, and I think the bad guy was trying to use that sort of trope of, oh yeah, we all recognize these are dangerous animals in the wild, but they could have went a little above and beyond and sort of actually think about, as humans, we have a lot of dangerous animals that we keep indoors, and they could have used those sort of animals as a main character as opposed to a shark. That's a bit silly, I get it, but a wolf? Who keeps a wolf inside doors? You know what I mean? That's a bit weird. It's just weird how we tend to use wolves and foxes and dogs as something close to humans, something the furry community can relate to for some reason. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying at this point, but really hoping we use more unique animals out in the world, like a jellyfish as a main character. We have used penguins before. How many penguin movies are out there right now? How many sheep movies are out there? Recently, I haven't heard anything related to dinosaurs because I grew up on walking with the dinosaurs. Visually was stunning. Wow, this is some relatable shit. I remember as a kid, I was obsessed with dinosaurs. I don't think everyone who grew up in 2nd or 1st or 3rd grade, we were obsessed with dinosaurs and naming each sort of dinosaur type and all that jazz. It's interesting how we went from obsessing over dinosaurs to obsessing more furry creatures. When's the last time you saw any bird movies? The last bird movie that I remember was Rio, and that lasted 2 movies and it was gone. How many cat movies are out there right now? I have no idea. How many bunny rabbits are out there right now? I have no idea. We have so many more animals out there that we could use, but we don't, because they were just playing off the stereotypes of the wolf and the snake sort of thing, and the foxes, oh yeah, they're very slick and very clever for whatever reason that we put meaning to these animals. Still, this Bad Guys movie is a good movie, and I highly recommend. It reminds me of G-Force. It's very underrated. I think it came out in Disney Channel for some reason. But it just reminds me of the hamster, which obviously he's a villain in the movie. And looking back at it now, literally all of the characters are very similar to the main character of Bad Guy. I suppose G-Force is playing off the tropes of like Mission Impossible, and the Bad Guys is playing the tropes off Reservoir Dogs. The High Story franchise will never die. Like, it's always interesting to see how they do a little spin, a little dash of salt, a little dash of black pepper to just really stir up the pot here and there. I'm not disappointed. It's not a bad thing. I'm just an observation I'm making, but that's all I have to say.
In the seas cooking with the Rick.